Thank you, Presiding Officer. I welcome the opportunity to lead what I think is an important members' debate focusing on the role of the British-Irish Parliamentary Assembly. The Assembly enhances scrutiny of each of the legislature's policy and decision-making, and it fosters positive intergovernmental relationships. And I mentioned this in last week's debate in Chamber as well. And I thank all members across Chamber who supported my motion. I welcome that the support is cross-party and that we have consensus on the role of BIPA. I also want to thank the BIPA clerks for the amazing work that they do, and Jenny Chinembiri, right, I have to say it really slowly, and Stephen Bell from our International Relations Office. They're absolutely amazing, and they support us MSPs and they coordinate our visits, and Stephen Bell provided us an excellent briefing ahead of the debate this evening. The current BIPA chairs, Brendan Smith TD and Karen Bradley MP, are excellent, and they guide us through our business and events at all the plenary sessions. BIPA was originally established as the British-Irish Inter-Parliamentary Body in 1990 to create a link between the Houses of Parliament and the Houses of the Oireachtas. The first plenary session took place in London in 1990, and in 2001 membership was then enlarged to include the Scottish Parliament, the Welsh Assembly, the Northern Ireland Assembly, the Executive Legislature of the Isle of Man and the states of Guernsey and Jersey. The name British-Irish Parliamentary Assembly was adopted to reflect the new era of relations between Britain and Ireland in 2008. And BIPA's mission is to promote cooperation between elected representatives across the UK and Ireland and BIPA members, and this in turn represents the people that we all represent. BIPA want to build on the close relationship established in recent years between politicians throughout Britain and Ireland. And, Presiding Officer, BIPA members engage in a wide range of non-legislative parliamentary activities through biannual plenary meetings and ongoing committee work. Plenaries alternate between BIPA countries and debate topical issues, committee reports, and include a question period with a senior minister from the host country. I was fortunate to meet Michael Martin when he was the Taoiseach at Dublin, at one of our Dublin sessions. The current 4 BIPA committees are the Steering Group, the European Affairs, Economic Committee, and finally Environment and Society. They meet regularly online and in person and take oral and written evidence on many specific issues. BIPA members sit in alphabetical order rather than as delegations of their respective legislatures, and national representation is only relevant for the purposes of the quorum and the tabling of certain motions and amendments. And it seems to me, Presiding Officer, that sitting next to a colleague from a different party or a party even in opposition, it actually enhances our inter-parliamentary relationships. The Parliament's regional assemblies and devolved institutions represented they all share a common tradition and a style of debate, and then these common roots are reflected in the way the Assembly operates. On the 6th of March 2023, members held an extraordinary plenary in Belfast at Stormont to mark the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Good Friday Agreement. And the Speaker of the House at Stormont, he granted the use of Stormont for the chamber and the meeting rooms for our special plenary. And former Taoiseach Bertie Ahern and Sir John Holmes, who was the Principal Private Secretary to Tony Blair when he was Prime Minister, were directly involved with the Good Friday Agreement negotiations, and they addressed the Assembly on the significance of the historic peace agreement, and they responded to questions. Members of the Women's Coalition, Kate Fearon, Brona Hines, Dr Avila Kilmurray and Jane Morris, they followed up with a presentation and conveyed to me the significance of having the women involved in creating the peace process and promoting lasting peace. Attending the session was extremely impactful for everyone on that March the 6th day. For me, growing up in Stranraer in the late 70s, I was all too aware of the troubles when I was growing up, and that was happening just across the water, across the Irish Sea. And for me, not enough is said about the role that women play in peace negotiations in any conflict, including what was happening in Ireland and the North at that time. So and this relates to my previous work on promoting United Nations Resolution 1325, which aims to promote the importance of women being at the forefront of peace talks. Presiding Officer, in addition to specific debates and motions, recommendations are made to lawmakers across the BIPA areas. In May, we had a plenary in Jersey, where we heard from Jersey's first woman Chief Minister, Christina Moore. She took questions from me regarding whether Jersey is considering the wellbeing economy as part of their financial policy, and she agreed that wellbeing should be considered, not just GDP. Creation of good relationships has been excellent for me and my BIPA colleagues. Senator Emer Curry and Mairead Farrell TD, they both subsequently invited me to visit Leinster House, which I did last summer. I was able to attend Taoiseach Leo Varadkar's leaders' questions, and I found the whole visit extremely welcoming and enjoyable. Plenary allowed us to share experiences. We've heard that Ireland has similar challenges with GP recruitment in rural areas, and I was able to provide insight into how the unique Scottish Government-created ScotGem programme has helped to increase the GP workforce in Scottish rural areas, and maybe that's perhaps something that Ireland will be able to take forward and reflect on the work that Scottish Government has done in promoting ScotGem. The Economic Committee that I'm a member of is currently carrying out an energy inquiry, which is showing how energy policy differs in each of the legislatures. And what is becoming increasingly apparent in our inquiry is how energy policy in the UK is so disproportionately negatively impacting Scotland. This is a good place to stop for me right now, Presiding Officer. I'm conscious of the time, but what I would say in closing is that I again welcome the opportunity to lead this debate. I'm not asking the government to do anything except perhaps, which is probably a first, but BIPA has really benefited me in building intra-parliamentary relationships and in meeting with and learning from and acting on good policy to enhance the lives of the people we represent. So I look forward this evening to hearing the contributions from other members. Thank you, Presiding Officer.